Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. Today is my birthday. I'm so excited, and I'm also especially excited because my birthday this year falls on the exact day of Scenic Stitches Fiber Festival. So I am about to head out. My parents are on their way to pick me up. I'm dragging them with me because obviously I am. Right now I am wearing the Marina vest. This was a test knit I did over the summer for Moon Crafted. Rita Dowd is an incredible designer. Her designer story is incredible, but yeah, this is my version, I guess, of her vest that I tested for her. I'm so happy I made it with Hobby rainbow cotton. Anyways, but yeah, so this is my little fit, and then I'm also forcing my parents to wear the sweaters that I've made for them for Christmases in the past. So they're gonna be very warm because it's a warm, sunny day outside, but I told them you actually have to wear them. So I'll do a little fit update for them as well. Hello, here is my dad. He is currently wearing the zipper sweater. I made this for him for Christmas. How do you like it?
So when I was in college, which was the 70s, I had a wool crew neck rust sweater, which was one of my favorites. So when Marielle got into knitting, she asked what I would like, and I said rust. She nailed the color. We went with the quarter zip instead of the crew neck, and it's very nice.
I made this sweater in Cascade Yarns 220, which is like a worsted weight wool, and I will link the yarn in the description below.
The only thing missing is for me to go snow skiing in it.
I'm dead. All right, now I have my mom, and she is wearing a different sweater that I've made. I kind of freehanded this in combination with a free pattern from Wool and the Gang. So it's kind of like a mix of two different things, but yeah. This sweater pullover was made in the Feeling Good yarn by Wool and the Gang. This is yarn that I had since like 2020, and I just never made anything with it.
So I have another sweater that she made for me a couple of years ago that is beautiful. She wanted me to wear that one today instead, but it is 65 degrees out here. It's so wool, it's thick, it's really a warm sweater. So went with this instead. Love the kind of oversized slouch look. Get to tuck it in. Not too hot, not too cold. Beautiful.
All right, hello guys. It is a new day, a new dawn, and I wanted to give you guys an update, a review of how yesterday was. Yesterday was just a really fun day. As you guys know, it was my birthday yesterday, so I'm now 25, which is crazy. Yeah, yesterday was just a really fun day. Dragging my parents to Scenic Stitches and looking at all the yarn shops, talking to the different vendors and the hand dyers, and yeah, just exploring all around. And then when I got home later last night, my roommate brought me flowers, which was so sweet. That was so precious. And then we went to a local like family bar where like children and dogs and lots of people go. Like I have people from my church that meet there for Bible study, so it's like a really fun spot. Anyways, we all went, and I brought my knitting. She brought her bullet journaling, her junk journaling, and then my other friend that came with us brought her bracelet making things. So that was really fun. We were just having a good time and hanging out there and like laughing our heads off, and it was crazy. I wanted to give you a bit of an update on what I got, a little bit of a haul. So I'm excited, so excited about all the things that I got. There were so many things from the different booths that I really wished I'd gotten. I was really also just trying to hold myself back because I already have so much yarn in stash. So the yarn that I did get was for very specific projects. Sorry if you're shaking. I actually have you guys propped up on our cat tree, and Henry is currently in the little cubby in the cat tree. I've never in my life seen him go in there, and for some reason he thought today is the day. So if you're shaking, it's because he's moving. So just know he's sleeping below you. He's sleeping below. Anyways, yeah, I just like have not really knit anything for myself other than designs in like months, because I was like grinding for this like Christmas fair that I was doing before Thanksgiving and around Thanksgiving time, and then I was really grinding even before then and after then on Christmas presents for my sister and my dad. I made my sister sweater number 11 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I made my dad the zipper sweater by Petite Knit, and so that was really fun, and you know, both incredible precious patterns, but also it takes a lot out of you to make, you know, something on a deadline and have the stress of like, oh, is this going to be done by Christmas? And like kind of pushing it. And, you know, as you know, garments that are as big as sweaters take a very long time to make. So anyways, and then after that, I started designing. So I'd been working on a lot of designs, and then I had some other commissions come in for like commissions for the patterns that I've designed, or commissions for other patterns that within their copyright are able to be commissioned. I always check the copyright. That's a great thing to do, to always check the copyright, because some designers don't want their like objects that are made using their patterns to be sold, and that's completely understandable. I really haven't made anything for myself in like literally months, since last summer, I would say. Actually, like it's been a long time. So I bought yarn that I am really excited about making for specific projects for myself. All right, I'm gonna get into it. So there was just so many different booths and I guess vendors that were selling so much beautiful yarn. I was really looking for like a chartreuse green-ish kind of color. And I saw this vendor that had beautiful colors in their store. And I was so drawn to this color in particular. So let me pull it up for you. So I picked up this hand-dyed yarn by the Whimsical Ewe. It is a DK weight. It's hand-dyed in Sherwood, Arkansas, which is so interesting. That was something I noticed. There was so many different vendors from so many different random places in the States, and they had all traveled down to Chattanooga at the convention center. I spoke with many of them like, oh, that must be so fun, traveling all over, selling yarn that you've hand-dyed. And they were kind of like, I mean, you live your whole life just looking out on the interstate, and you don't get to stay any place for a long enough time. And so I was like, oh, that's a really interesting perspective. Anyways, this particular yarn is called Yak DK in the colorway Spring Moss. This is 60% superwash merino, 20% silk, 20% yak, and it's a 4-ply DK weight. So I have gotten 4 skeins of this to make the sea slipover. I believe that's how it's pronounced. So I will insert a picture here, and I'm just incredibly excited. This color has been such a hyperfixation for me recently. I've just like really loved everything with this color recently. I am drawn to greens naturally anyway because my eyes are green, and the color green, when I wear it, just really brings out the color of my eyes, which I just really love so much how it does that. And this particular green is kind of like this like chartreuse moment situation. And anyways, I'm just like so obsessed, and I cannot begin to explain to you how soft and fluffy, like it feels just like a cloud, like it's so squishy and fluffy. I just like am so obsessed. It's beautiful. This yarn is just actually beautiful. I love wearing greens because my eyes are green, and so it really brings out the color in my eyes, and I just love that so much. But I also think just green is like probably my favorite color, and more like I love the color olive green. My friends and I every year actually have a hear me out cake situation, and this year one of my hear me outs was literally just the color olive green. It was just like one of those paint swatches of the color olive green. That was my hear me out. And all right, the next thing that I want to talk about that I picked up at Scenic Stitches is actually not a yarn item. This person was so smart to get a booth at this event, even though it's obviously an event for like yarn and fiber arts. I am such a tea enjoyer, and I'm like really getting into more white and green teas. I feel like I've always been like really a fan of black teas specifically, but I'm branching out, and so she had some different samples of different kinds of teas that you could smell, and the smell of this tea in particular was so beautiful that I just had to get some. This is the blueberry white tea, and her business is called Loose Leaf Tea Co. So I just got 1 ounce of this, but literally I'm so excited. It smells so wonderful, and honestly, after I finish filming, I'm gonna go make myself a cup because it's so beautiful. Anyways, it's so interesting that as I get older, you know, the more fan I become of other kinds of teas, where I've like for so long only been a fan of black teas. So anyways, I'm so excited, and I just am so excited to start making things with the yarn that I bought while drinking this tea. That's just such a cute little memory as well. And I have this little tea strainer that I got from a local store in Chattanooga called I Go Tokyo, and they have the cutest little knickknacks and things. And anyways, it's a strainer with a fox on it. It's literally absolutely adorable. I'm obsessed. And yeah, so this was the second thing that I picked up. My parents were with me, and they also got a bunch of different teas from them as well. They also had like some different booths with soaps or essential oils, hand balms, which I thought was so creative to book a booth for that like kind of item to sell. You know, we have hand paint as crafters, we have dry hands as crafters because the fibers we're using, and I just thought that was like so smart. And also, like, most of us as crafters also always have a warm drink with us while we're crafting, so I just thought those two things were so smart. There was also a potter there who had made a bunch of yarn bowls by hand, and she was selling those. And I thought that was another literally genius idea for something to bring to a fiber festival to sell. So that was really awesome to see them, even though they weren't selling yarn or hand-dyed yarn or anything of that nature. That was just really awesome to see. One more thing about this shop, this lady also had visited Ecuador, and while she was there, she had befriended some families who hand weave yarn into like woven garments. And so she had brought several yards of fabric back from Ecuador and had sewn them together, and all the proceeds for those specific garments are going back to support those families in Ecuador. So I thought that was really, really cool as well, that she was supporting this family that she had met in her travels in that way. And yeah, I think it was just a really unique thing to see there. Like, there wasn't a whole ton of weaving, but obviously weaving is part of the fiber arts community as well. And it's just awesome that she was highlighting their work and the beautiful colors that they used to create their woven fabrics at this fiber festival. So that was really awesome. All right, the last store I want to talk about that I purchased something at was truly so wonderful. It was a store with a vendor selling 100% silk yarn. And it was so fascinating because obviously I feel like we're a little disillusioned when it comes to silk in our society where, you know, obviously we know wool comes from sheep and alpaca comes from alpacas and, you know, all those things. But we always forget that silk literally comes from bugs, from insects. And so that was really cool. She had several different informational pamphlets and things about the different kinds of insects and the silk that they produce to make the different kinds of yarns. So silk yarn is so incredible, and it's a really, really great fiber to work with for garments because it's cooler in the summer and it's warm in the winter. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. The first yarn that I picked up is actually for my dad. He really wants me to make him something, and so he picked up 2 skeins of this yarn. It's like this deep green color. My dad is very much like me, where we're both just very drawn to green, and I get my green eyes from him. So this colorway is called Black Forest. It's 100% mulberry silk, which is so interesting, and it's kind of got this like fuzzy texture to it. It's a little bit shiny, but like legitimately feels like a cloud. So I'm a little jealous of my dad getting to have a finished object in this yarn. But I did get my own yarn from this store as well that I wanted to talk about. So the yarn that I got from the same store, this colorway is called Peridot, and it is Skvader 8-ply 100% airy silk. So this is by a different type of insect so the texture of the fabric is a little bit different, which is interesting. And this is also an 8-ply. So here it is. I'm so excited. It's beautiful. I am planning on making blouse number 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I've never made one of her blouses, and I just like am really looking for that kind of staple of something I can just pull out and wear multiple days a week even, but will keep me cool in the summer and keep me warm in the winter, something that's a little more versatile. And I've never personally knit with 100% silk before. I picked up 5 skeins of this to make blouse number 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I am incredibly tempted, even with like the 5 million projects I have going on my needles right now. I'm incredibly tempted to just cast this on. And honestly, I think I might as a treat to myself because it's my birthday weekend, and I'm almost finished with one commission I'm making for my friend. She commissioned me to make the sendero socks that I designed myself, and I am about done with the first sock, and I know the second sock will go very quickly as well. So I might do that as a little like, hey, we finished half of a commission treat. Oh no, we'll see. But as you guys know, I'm also working on the terrain pullover, and I'm also working on finishing this other gift knit for my friend, and I'm also working on a few more sock designs that I need to have done so that I could submit them for tech editing and take the photos and everything. So we've just got a lot going on. But yeah, like I was saying, I think I really miss just knitting for myself, just being super excited about a project. Not that I'm not about these other projects, but those other projects feel a little bit more like work. And I miss knitting just for fun, honestly. And again, knitting is fun even when I'm doing it for work. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. I am just really, really tempted to cast on blouse number 1 with this yarn. And I just think this is such a lovely color for it. And I'm just so excited for the drape and everything. So that was my weekend. That was my experience at Scenic Stitches, and I just had such a wonderful time. It was so fun. I'm glad I dragged my parents with me. So they could see a little bit into my world as a knitting girly. And yeah, they're also open today. Today is Sunday. I hope you enjoyed this video so much. I hope you enjoyed watching. I am just so thrilled to get to have been a part of Scenic Stitches and to get to go and meet all the different vendors and chat about their yarns and their hand dyeing process and their travels with them as well. And yeah, I'm just genuinely so thrilled with the yarn that I picked up as well. So if any of you guys were there and maybe we passed each other by, I would love to hear. And yeah, that is all. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you later. Bye.